All right, so we're back with another episode of In the Trenches. We've got Leo with us today, man. It's such a pleasure to have you here. You have been absolutely like crushing the wins channel. Seems like every time I look in there, there's another like kick-ass P&L from you. So, um, really stoked to get to chat with you today, man. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Um, we usually start these things just kind of getting to know the person that we're speaking to. So I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about, your history as a trader. How did you get started in trading?
Yeah, so I started in 2021. Well, I wasn't properly trading, but that's when I found out what crypto was. There was like this thing. Do you know what Pi miners are? It was like this app on your phone where you'd mine this coin, and it was like completely worthless. Um, but like I saw people sharing it, like some of my mates. Um, and I was like looking into it. I was like, what actually is this? And then I started looking, and then found out what crypto was. So started looking at that. Downloaded Coinbase, was just looking at charts, just kind of trying to understand what was really going on. And I was like a complete normie. I didn't know what like on chain was. I just had Coinbase and I was just trading like Bitcoin, ETH on like the 1 minute chart. I was like completely unprofitable. Um, I was just trying to like make something. Um, but then I started learning what like the cycles were and stuff. So then I kind of realized I'm a bit late for this cycle, so I'm gonna try and make some money in the next couple of years, and then I thought like 2025 would be like the crazy leg where everything's sent. So for like 2022, 2023, I was just trying to make some cash to be in the next cycle, just like flipping stuff on marketplace and eBay and stuff. Um, and then it was like 2023, like the end of 2023, I was still doing it because I was expecting the big run to come in like 2025, and everything like was already starting to run. So I was like, shit, I need to just get in like now. It looks like it's starting early because like this cycle was crazy. Like we had an all-time high before the halving, which never happens, and I didn't expect that like at all. Um, so yeah, then but I joined like perfectly in time when in like January it was like late 2023, early 2024, and Base like just came out, and it was like super early. There was like nothing on there. It was just like Toshi, and that was pretty much it. And Base had a crazy run from like January to like March, and I managed to just like go crazy with that cash. And then from then I was like, damn, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this. So unfortunately, Base at that time it did because everyone was hyping up. I don't know if you remember. There was this. It was like everyone was hyping up the smart wallet, and Jesse and Brian were hyping up like on chain summer, and everyone thought, like everyone on base who was speculating thought like, damn, like they're gonna have some crazy plans. Like this is Coinbase's chain. This is like the perfect time for it. ETH is gonna go crazy. Um, so I just like held everything. I thought I was gonna like make it, but then everything nuked like 90% in like summer 2024 on base. So I was like, damn. So then I just started looking over to other chains. I was always doing Sol, like just doing some little ones, but I've mainly been trying to trade like new chains. Um, so I was like the reason why I'm like only doing Sol right now is because you can't really do that anymore because all the new chains coming out just die like immediately. Like Monad was crazy. It lasted like 2 days. Um, like in 2024 when you top on a new chain, it would last at least like a month. Like Tron, Ton, um, yeah. So from then, I was just doing that, and I managed to build a good amount where I was happy with. And like Trump happened, everything nuked, and I was like mostly in stables by then. Ever since then, I'm like barely even risk on. I'm just trying to like scalp stuff as like an income. Like on the P&Ls I send. I'm literally just trying to scalp like 1K, 2K, 3K, 4K, just consistently, like a few a day. And that's pretty much where it is right now.
Right on. Yeah, we talked to Print God maybe a month or so ago, and he kind of said the same thing that for a while there, his big alpha was trading on chains that were kind of difficult to bridge to.
Yeah.
That he would just that was the main way to kind of make it, and kind of we were talking about kind of how FOMO changes that a little bit, giving that access. I want to talk about that maybe a little bit more later, but I kind of want to focus in on like the beginning of your journey. Um, at what point did you kind of like at what point did you feel like you were good at trading, and how did you know that you kind of had a knack for it?
Um, I would say like honestly, in like 2021, when I wasn't a good trader like at all, and I was thinking I'm gonna come back next cycle, I already knew like I want to trade. Like it just seemed so much more appealing than everything else. Um, like if you're doing like business and stuff, like you have to rely on other people, and like people can, obviously that happens in crypto as well, but at the end of the day, it's you who like clicks the buy button and you who clicks the sell button. Um, so that's why I always thought trading was good because it's all down to you. You know what I mean? It's not anyone else's fault really. Um, like if something goes to zero, you should have spotted the red flags in time. You know what I mean? It's all down to you. Um, so I always knew I wanted to trade, and when I got back in, honestly, it was a different market condition. So I like started making money like instantly, like in the first like couple weeks. So I just like instantly made money and just didn't want to stop like straight away.
Got it. Was there a particular trade that like really hooked you, or was it just generally the idea of trading that was
Yeah.
what was interesting?
Well, I mean, on base, I was catching like these coins were running to like 20 mil, 50 mil, 100 mil, and I was catching them all like sub 1 mil. Like Brett caught that at like 5 mil. That went to like 2 bill. I didn't sell it there, obviously. I sold it at like 300 mil. It was like there was like shitters. Like there was these coins called Belgian Beppe. Uh, I caught them both at like 10K, and they both went to like 20 mil. And like there was so many like those on base. Like it was actually crazy. Like the market is so different now. Um, like so much slop was just running to like 20 mil, 50 mil, blah blah blah. Uh, so yeah,
Yeah, it is totally different. I want to go there with you as well. I'm kind of curious your thoughts about it. Before we get into that though, can you kind of talk us through like stylistically what kind of trader you are? Obviously, in base season, it was kind of like throw a dart and you could hit on it. Nowadays, things are quite different. Sounds like
yeah,
you're kind of scalping, you're in short-term trades. Maybe talk us through kind of what your style is and how you've developed it, your current style.
yeah. So I like to do like two things. I like because I've always got like meme scope open, um, but I don't trade like new coins as much. I like to like when a coin comes out and it's been out for like a few days, it's like kind of found a floor. I like to just scalp like a 2-3x on that. Like you throw in a few thousand and you can get like a 2-3x. You make like a few thousand 5K. And there's like multiple opportunities. Well, there's at least one trade per day where you can do that, where there's like an existing coin that's been ranging from like, let's say it's between like 200K to like a mil, and you can catch like a 2-3x on that if you're just paying attention to all these coins. And so what I'll do is I'm kind of just paying attention to all these coins that come out every week, and I'm just putting them all on a watch list, all the ones I find interesting, and then I'm just kind of going through them all day, every day, just scanning the charts and seeing if there's what I think is a nice entry, and you know, if I think it's nice, I'll try and go in for a scalp.
Interesting. That actually is kind of really similar to the way that I think about trading. But it doesn't seem very similar to the way that a lot of the people that I have on this show or that we have on this show think about trading, a lot of folks are kind of looking to get in just like as early as possible, be in that first wave. So you're saying that your process is more like let the trade, let the tokens kind of show itself, show its strength. Is there a particular like percentage pullback that you look for? Is it a basing pattern? Is it like, can you give us a little bit more clarity about kind of what you're looking for technically or fundamentally?
Um, so a lot of it comes down to things that are like harder to explain. Like a lot of it comes down to like instinct, like the fact that I've just been doing this. Uh, like I'm just always looking at coins. You kind of when you see a coin, you instantly kind of value it, and when you're looking at like a chart, it's hard to explain. Like I would say, one thing is you kind of want it to not. You want to wait until like the flush out of the first people who come in. Like when a coin comes out, like everyone's buying it, you see notifications, and like you're going through like the holder list, and there's a lot of people. Um, it's nice when the coin's been out for a few days, and then you check the FOMO holder list, and there's like five people in it, or something like that. I just feel like a lot more comfortable entering the trade when it's like uncrowded, and like when a coin comes out, people are kind of just throwing money at it. They're not like they're DDing it, but they throw money in first, like a lot of traders. They throw money in first, and then they throw money in first, and then once they've like DD'd it properly, then they'll sell if it's not good. So the coin will like value itself over like a few days after it's been out. Um, yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. So many traders that we talk to here say the same thing about the FOMO holder list and wanting it to be kind of quiet when a bunch of the guys that you recognize are on that list. It's like you kind of don't want to be in the token, and if nobody that you recognize is in that list, it's an immediate like, not necessarily a time to ape, but it's a green flag of perhaps the several that you might be looking for.
yeah. Because the thing is, in this market, you're kind of just PvPing with other trenchers. So if you're seeing a coin and there's not that many trenchers in, like the people who are going to pump it are the trenchers. So you might think, there's going to be something that happens in the future that's going to cause people to come back in, and you're in before them, so they'll pump it like multiple X's when they enter.
Right. So, talk me through then a little bit about kind of like when you're about to get into a position, how do you think about sizing? Do you follow a rigid set of rules? Does it depend on the token? Where's your head at in that regard?
Yeah. If it's like a new coin, I'll chuck in like 750 to like 1,000, or like 500 to 1,000. Not like that much. Well, it depends. Something, if it's like a big launch that I think is going to do well, I'll just ape in straight away with like a larger amount. But usually new launches, I'll put in like 500 to 1,000. And these coins that I buy like three or a few days after launch, I'm usually putting in like 1,000 to 5,000.
And like what percentage of your port are you generally comfortable with risking at any given time on a single position?
Um, Usually on like my phone wallet, I like to have at least 50% of the wallet in cash. Um, and say like right now my FOMO wallet, it got like nuked. It's at like 80K right now. Um, it would be like 5% or something.
Gotcha. Um, do you have like a number of positions that you tend to like to stick to at any given time? I was kind of scrolling through your holdings earlier this afternoon. I noticed that you have quite a few tokens.
Yeah,
Is there a sweet
it's
spot for you?
yeah. I'm holding too many. I'm holding way too many. I actually, this is because I've not been like as locked in, so I've not been like managing my port that well. Um, I would say like holding I'd say like five coins, like more than like five, and you just get it just feels like messy when you're on it. You have to like keep track of all these positions and all these things, and it's hard to like execute when you're tracking so many.
Totally, totally. Feel the same way. I find myself constantly kind of like paring, paring down. Even if I just bought 10 minutes ago, if it feels something feels off or it feels like too many things, I'll just cut it. Just because like you said, it's kind of hard to focus, and you kind of need to focus. Do you tend to like stay in the same metas, or do you tend to like shift across metas? I guess I don't know. Does that matter to you? Or is it just all about the like the coin had a big explosive move, it's now retraced quite a bit, and now it's time to kind of think about getting in, even though maybe that meta isn't popping off right now?
Yeah, I'd say it depends like what stage in the meta is. Like if the meta is like very new, like I'll definitely go with the meta. Um, but if it's you know normally the metas are lasting like a few days or something, and the issue is if you're on the tail end of that, you can wake up and you're down like 70%. Like we saw that with like gas and stuff. Um, like if you're holding at the end of that meta, the rotations are so fast, so you can get caught very easily like that. So honestly, I think memes are like the easiest to trade. They're like the easiest for me to value in my head because I've like seen so many. Um, yeah.
Right on. What behaviors would you say have most improved your trading, and what behaviors have you had to like eliminate entirely because they were messing up your trading?
I think you need to have like organized life. You need to like you know be just have like a routine and stuff. Like kind of have like a sound mind. Like don't be spending so much time on Twitter and stuff. I've like recently not been going on Twitter as much. Like I think keeping like a clear mind is like super important. I think that's I don't think enough people actually talk about that.
I would agree with you completely. What do what do you do to kind of attain that? How do you, like I talked to a lot of traders in here. I hear a lot of stories about, you take a couple trades, they go against you, you get into this loop of like, I got to make it back,
Yeah.
you spiral. And that is like the opposite of the sound mind. So, how
Mm.
do you then identify when your mind isn't sound? Like, what are kind of the key things for you? And how do you kind of get out of that loop?
Honestly, every time that I can sense that I'm on bad momentum, like I'll just stop trading. Like 80% of my trades, I'll just stop doing them. Like I'll only go in for like tiny scalps. Um, and I'll just kind of like feel out the market and kind of like get my head together and regather, recoup. And then once I feel like comfortable, then I'll like get back in. Like right now, um, I actually was getting kind of cooked like before I locked out like a couple of weeks ago. So the reason I'd done that as well, obviously I'm home as well, but I also could sense that I was like slipping a bit, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stop trading. And now I'm feeling better, so I'm soon gonna start putting in some more trades now.
Nice. That's awesome that you have the clarity of mind to like see that and take the action. It's such a difficult thing to kind of get. That's a difficult step to get to, but if you can get to it, I try to encourage everybody that I talk to in chat that's like crashing out a little bit to just like step away. The market isn't going anywhere. There will always be new tokens. It's okay if you miss something, you know. chill out, take a beat, take a breath, come back
Yeah.
stronger. How do
Yeah, I
you
mean,
what do you think is the most common way that traders tend to sabotage themselves? And how would you recommend that they course correct?
I would say borrowing conviction probably, or like kind of going with the crowd. Like a lot of trading is, not going with the crowd. But that's like my trading style. I know that there's a lot of people who make a lot of money on so-called crowded coins, but me personally, like I'm not very good at those coins right now. Um,
Yeah, so
yeah,
does that like thesis conviction play a big role in the trades that you take?
yeah, I would say it's pretty much all based on that. Um, it's like, do I see this narrative or do I see this thesis doing well? Like I'll kind of um, like for example, there was a coin called Shiny Rock, and I did end up round tripping quite a lot of the profit, but because USD1 died, and I was on the tail end of that narrative, so got destroyed. Um, so it just in my head, it just seemed like a very good narrative. It's like gold and silver sending. There's never really been a good meme about gold and silver, so this should runs like a few mil. So I just bought like almost 1% at like 300K, and then it ran to like 2 or 3 mil. Um, yeah.
It's a brutal profit to give back. Um, how do you think about taking profit? Where what I guess I don't know that you would say that anything went wrong with that particular trade. Perhaps like you said you got in at the tail end of the meta, but the meta was more than just USD1, right? The meta was metals and the power of
Mm.
the strength of all of the metals like in the traditional markets. Um,
Yeah.
what is your mental process for taking profit? And what is your mental process for dealing with a position that round trips like that?
Um, for taking profit, I usually just if something's up like 2 or 3, 4x, I'll usually just sell. To be honest, I'm like I'm like heavy TP mode right now. I'm not trying to like hold much stuff. Like I got cooked right now because I'm holding stuff. Um, and I kind of went against my own system there, and then I lost money. So that's just proved to me that my system, I need to stick to it. Just like be in like each trade usually will be like uh, a few hours to like a few days. If you think the chart's like getting a bit overheated, it's up like because honestly, like in this market, like 1 mil is like the new like 20 mil. So um, I'm usually just trying to buy stuff at like 200K, 300K, sell it at like 900K to like 2 mil. Yeah.
Got it. So just like basically multiples.
Yeah. Or if like, usually it's hard to explain because a lot of it is like instinct. Like I can if I'm like sitting here watching a chart, it just starts like candling, like I'll definitely just start trimming it.
Yeah,
It's not
for
like super rigid. It'll be
gotcha.
like based on kind of vibes.
Yeah, totally. I get it. How has the social element of FOMO, people copy trading you, people following you, how has that impacted your process? Obviously, you found some success in trading before you really had any of that. What's it
Mhm.
like to be a highly followed trader on FOMO, and how does it affect your mental process?
Yeah. Well, I'm not getting many copper traders right now because I get cooked a little bit. Um, but I think, a lot of people are watching your wallet when you're on FOMO, and I think you make. Like if it's on a private wallet, you're kind of just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just throw something in here, throw something in here. You'll like make some dumb decisions, but when you like when you buy something, you know like everyone who follows you is gonna get like a notification that you've bought it, and they're gonna like see that you're holding it. You know, it makes you definitely think twice and be a bit more calculated with your decisions.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's been kind of the general consensus answer from most of the guys that I've talked to too, that it really makes you double and triple check or like think twice about the positions that you take because you know the implications of it all.
Yeah, because this is why FOMO is very good because like I'm not like a KOL. A lot of the best traders on FOMO aren't KOLs and their wallets weren't really seen before. So now, you know, we can get like a feeling of, people are looking at our wallets and we get that accountability without being KOLs.
Totally, totally. So, for a trade to be something that you would want to take, what absolutely has to be true before, P&L or anything like that enters the picture? And can a trade that ends up going against you still be a good trade?
Um, a trade that's going against you definitely, I mean, it can still be a good trade because if you learn something from it. Um, or do you mean like in terms of P&L or in terms of mindset?
I mean, I'm just thinking like your bare minimum requirements that have to be true in order for you to get into a trade
Mm.
and how to stay in that trade even when it starts going against you. Like, what are your rules for getting into something? And they don't have to be like super specific. Um, but what are your general rules? Like, I only will trade tokens that XYZ. And if those tokens go against you initially, like if your thesis doesn't turn out to be true immediately, how do you stay in them? Um, how do you stay in them and let the thesis play out, and or at what point do you get out of the trade?
I would say, with these coins where I'm buying them like a few days after launch, um, sometimes you can tell like, all right, this probably not going to catch on. Um, usually, sometimes this can be bad because sometimes you can sell. Uh, but that is a risk. But I would rather take like risk management um, and miss some of those. So I would like cut it if I'm just thinking after a few days, like, yeah, I don't know about this, or it's not really catching on like I thought.
Got it. Is there any information that you deliberately ignore that you think most traders tend to focus too much on?
I think honestly, like copy trading. Like I think copy trading can be good, but I don't think like buying like straight after someone is good. Like I think if someone like buys a token, you should like look at the token because usually when someone buys it will like candle and then it will dip. Um, so just kind of like look at the token and understand like why did they buy, like take some time to like look at it. Um, and it can bring you attention to coins even when it's like not a good entry. So you know people are buying a coin, you can just put on your watch list and keep checking it out, and then if it gets like a good entry, then you can get in. But you don't copy trade like straight away.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would agree with you on that too. Oftentimes, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it as well. Throwing things on a watch list and checking back again in like anywhere from a couple hours to a couple days later. Oftentimes, you're going to get a better entry. What For your best trades, uh, what is there a through line that tends to happen in your best trades? What's your experience like with just a trade that just is a banger trade for you?
Um, I mean, I'm not doing that many banger trades in the last few months, so kind of. I think it depends. I don't know, because I don't take that many like big trades anymore. I'm kind of just scalping small ones.
Okay, so the small scalps are more like you wouldn't call them like super high conviction, or when you're taking them, they don't tend to perform a certain way. They're just they either hit or they don't, and you don't have like a strong sense about them when you take them.
I think if I see the narrative like catching on and I think more people would like it, then that would be like what would make me bid. Like if I think the narrative is undervalued, like I kind of can like value in my head if I think a narrative is undervalued, like I'll price it straight away in my head. And if it's like undervalued and I think more people would buy it, then I'll buy it.
Interesting. Can you kind of like talk me through the process of how you price a narrative?
Um, yeah, so I think a lot of the like new TikTok narratives, they kind of go, they usually go to like 500K to like 700K, and then the ones that break like a mil go to like 2 or 3 mil usually. So usually, like with a TikTok meme, I'm trying to buy it at like 100K, 200K, um, and like if the meme kind of starts dying out, like I'll sell the coin. Um, Honestly, it's hard for me to describe, to be honest. It's like a lot of it is instinct.
Totally. I get it. I totally get it. Um, of the narratives that are popping off right now, which do you think is the most durable? Are there any right now that you think are going to be around in a month, in a week, in 6 months?
Um, I think I think Claude Meta could definitely be something. I think X402 could come back. Um, Privacy, I think that'll come back. I'm like so bullish on privacy. That's like, in my opinion, that's like what crypto comes down to. Like that's what crypto was meant to be before CEX is attached like people's names to certain wallets. So I'm like super bullish on privacy. Those are like the three narratives that I'm looking at right now that I think could come back.
Got it. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Particularly privacy as well. It's like the return to the essence of what it was all meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to like the Monero community, it's just like full of like cypherpunks. It feels like Bitcoin in like 2012. Like everyone, like in crypto, like people have kind of lost like that cypherpunk thing. It's kind of just like Trump, can you pump Bitcoin, please? And like trying to get like banks, people to adopt it and stuff. When XMR is kind of it's like the true decentralized coin. So I'm super bullish on that. Um, and obviously that'll bring speculation. And I think because XMR has pulled back, but it's bounced off the old like range high right now. So I think it can continue higher. So yeah, we could get some privacy, smaller caps coming back, in my opinion.
Hmm. Interesting. Um, what would you say is kind of like the main driver? You know, you've kind of mentioned a couple of times here in this chat that you, trading hasn't been going as well for you over the past couple of months. I would push back against that and say it's probably going better for you than you think. but maybe it's not going as well as you'd like for it to. Is there anything in particular that's changed outside of just it was the holidays? It was you kind of took your foot off the gas a little bit, stopped paying as close attention to things. Is that kind of what caused that, and how are you thinking about like what changes are you planning on implementing in order to kind of like get back on the ball and right the ship a little bit, if you will?
Yeah. So like I said, I think it's kind of based off I was like losing momentum, and I kind of just saw that I started getting cooked. So, momentum is, you know, huge. Like just like charts have trends, like your P&Ls can have trends as well, because it's actually crazy because you can like hit some nice P&Ls and you just start hitting more P&Ls because it puts you in like a certain mindset. You've got good momentum, and yeah, it goes the other way as well.
It does indeed. Do you have any sort of things that you do to like strengthen your mindset?
Um, I would usually just take a break from like buying and selling stuff, like trading, and just kind of like observe the market, like start watching coins and say for example you're watching coins and just say like, all right, I would have bought here, or like buy with a tiny amount, um, and just like try and like feel the market out with a smaller amount, and then if you start to feel more confident, then you go back in with bigger size.
Got you. Yeah, I know a lot of traders that do this. Like if they start feeling like they're on a losing streak, they just like super size down, but don't stop trading. Like if you're used to trading with $1,000 positions, drop it down to $100 positions. If you're used to $100 positions, then drop it down to $20 positions. Just keeping yourself in the game, but putting a lot less risk on the line is a good way of balancing out your your brain in that way. I'm curious, what would you say is the most expensive lesson that you've had in your trading history?
Always be selling, basically. I've round trip so many coins just thinking like, oh yeah, this can definitely go a bit higher, like I'll be up this certain amount. um like coins always just top before everyone thinks, or they'll top way higher than anyone thinks. But when you're scalping coins, like, you know um you kind of want to like be selling before everyone else, really. It's like it's such a bad it's I mean, people would call that like a Jeep mindset, and it is, but unfortunately this market, like, that's how it has to be.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't very much out there that's been strong enough to hold for more than a short period of time. So it's more like adapting to a changing market than it is um, a certain type of mindset. Any day now, things could totally change again, right? So you just
Mhm.
got to take what the market gives you, as they say. What
Yeah,
would you?
like, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. You go ahead.
um no, I kind of lost it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What
Okay.
would you say is a belief about trading that you had when you started that you had to abandon in order to like level up?
I think one of them is like when you see people with good P&Ls, you kind of think um like you think like everyone's got it figured out. Like everyone who's got like a good P&L is like they've got trading figured out. When like a lot of people, like, they're just trying to like navigate the market like everyone else. Um yeah.
So like thinking that anybody knows everything is is a wrong way, and remembering that everybody is a student of the game is kind of the right mindset is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of things that are hard to value that just send, um because no one's really knows how to value it, or like you think like you think like everyone who's in this coin like knows perfectly how to value it. Um, nah, this is hard to explain.
They don't.
Um,
Simply, they don't.
yeah, and
So don't assume. Basically, like it almost sounds like don't assume that anybody really knows the truth about anything. Follow your own truth.
yeah, like there's a lot of coins where you can think like, oh, like the good guys aren't in this coin, so it might not do that well. But a lot of coins that I can cook on, like no one is in them ever. Um, yeah.
Got you. For a total beginner, what's the first thing that they should stop doing immediately?
Um, that's an interesting question.
What?
um,
How about? Maybe I'll phrase it different. What mistake do you see lots of new traders make that you, if we're asked, you would tell them like, "Hey, you're making this mistake. Don't do that."
I think people are kind of too quick to like give up on coins. Like if a coin comes out and then it kind of just dies, everyone just kind of forgets it and they just write it off. But that coin can just come back and have like a 5x move out of nowhere. So when you see like people selling a coin or you see a coin going down, don't just say like, oh, this coin must be like dead or this coin must be like ass. Um, because those can give you a very nice move if you keep an eye on them because they can start slowly curling. Exactly, though kind of said some gems are just too early, and like some of my best cooks have been like coins that just run, they nuke, everyone kind of thinks they're dead, and then you get enter. So don't think that something's dead when some good wallets start selling, or you know, because like I said, like even if some good wallet starts selling a coin, like they don't know everything. So the coin, like, don't just think that it's dead because all the good people have sold or the chart went down.
Got it. I mean, it's good advice. Like a recent example of that would be Director. Did you follow that token at all?
Yeah, I mean, I never. That was a coin. There's a lot of these coins that I'm not very good at like valuing because that one just like it stopped being viral and then it just ran, and I was super confused with that one to be honest.
Same, same. Really bullish on it when it first came out, and then it was dead until it wasn't, and now it's. I mean, it hit new all-time highs like yesterday or something. It's pulled back since, but still really surprising, and essentially from like zero to multi-millions in a very short period of time. So yeah, I can echo what you're saying there. What about for advanced traders? What would you say is the hardest habit to unlearn once you're already profitable?
Um, Yeah, it's taking me a time to answer these because I've not like thought of this stuff. I've not really sat and thought of this stuff. Habits to unlearn.
I should have sent you the questions yesterday instead of an hour ago.
Yeah, I'd say like jumpiness. Like I think being more like stoic and more patient is good. You know what I mean? Like being like jumpy, uh,
In out, in out, in out. You mean like
yeah,
jumpy with your positions that you're holding?
like jumpy with like your mindset, the way you're onto this coin and then you're like, oh, this is dead. Like onto the next one. This is dead. Onto the next one. Um, and the thing is, like, that can work for some people. So a lot of the stuff I'm saying, it works for me, but it might not work for someone else.
Sure, this is your truth though, you know.
Yeah.
This is how Leo sees things.
Yeah, yeah. um, but yeah, I would say like from like my skill, I would say like my trading, I would say the habit that you need to get away from that is, you know, or the habit you need to get for that is being more like patient and more like stoic and more like
Got it.
calm. Yeah.
That tracks. What skills should beginners prioritize that don't feel like trading at all or that don't directly relate to trading?
Honestly, I would go back to like what I said earlier with like having a clear mind.
Yeah, it's so difficult to have that, especially in the market that we're in right now, where the metas are changing so quickly, tokens are coming and going like the wind. Really hard to have a calm mind and a cool head on your shoulders. So, developing that skill does seem like probably one of the most powerful things you could do, especially no matter your skill level, but specifically as a beginner. Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
I've only got a couple more questions. I want to let the audience, if anybody here has any questions for Leo, please leave them in the chat and I'll definitely hit them. Um, what do you think is like, what are you actively trying to improve about your trading right now?
I would say, well, right now, I got cooked because I was like sizing into some coins. Um, so I'm trying to just get better at like staying more cash heavy. Because like the things of this market, like you look at Bitcoin, like there is a very real possibility that Bitcoin can roll over like very soon. Um, so like I just don't want to risk. Although the issue was like I did put money um at risk uh when this is a possibility. So right now I'm just going to be like heavier cash and be out of trades earlier. Like there was some coins that I was holding for like a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, which I shouldn't have done. So yeah.
So you think that the correlation between strength in the majors and strength in alts, memes, etc., is still really, really high, and so weakness in the majors will result in weakness across the board down the cap scale.
Yeah, if it's like a very strong narrative, it can obviously push through. Um, but if it's like if you're holding like a coin that's sitting at like a mil or something, Bitcoin starts to look really bad. That can easily go down like at least 50% over like a day or so.
For sure. Um, keeping in the background, the fact that your recent performance hasn't been up to snuff for you, what would you say? Like, if you had to compress your edge into one relatively repeatable principle, what would it be?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, if you had to compress your edge into one repeatable principle, what would it be? Why are you a good trader? What is it about what you do that makes you a relatively consistent and profitable trader?
Um, like being able to like trade coins without noise. Like if I think something is good, like I will enter that coin and I'll like wait for the I'll wait for a good entry. I'll like be patient. Like I'll look at the coin for a while. I'll just kind of scope it out. I'll wait for a good entry and then I'll jump in. Um, being like very calm and patient with it, as I think is very important because like every coin, like most of them, unless it's like a new launch with like crazy, something crazy, like most of them, like you'll get a better entry, like almost guaranteed.
Is that something that you had to develop, or is that just your nature?
Uh, I think like from trading in like this like super PvP market in the last few months, it's definitely something I developed. Like I used to be a lot more like I would hold coins, but this is all just stuff that like I've developed in this market.
Gotcha. A question in chat. What meta are you looking forward to over the next few weeks? I guess maybe what they're really asking is like, what meta do you think has the best opportunity, or has the most opportunity, rather?
Um, Honestly, I would say like Claude stuff can definitely come back like very hard. Um, like Soul Trophy Tomato, that can definitely come back. Um, like a lot of people are talking about vibe coding now. Like a lot of non-crypto people are playing around with Claude and stuff. Um, yeah, I think Ralph bounced like very nicely as well. I think Solid Trophy Tomato, to be honest, looks pretty good here.
Yeah, do you think that this is because of the last experience with AI, with Fartcoin and AI16Z and those? We were talking about this earlier in the family app with Buggy and No Sanity, and everybody was kind of saying like the big thing about the AI meta is that it's really, really, really hard to gauge a potential like top market cap for these sorts of tokens, which means that because it's hard to gauge, the market caps can be quite bigger. Is
Yeah,
that kind of your feeling on it too?
definitely. Yeah, and AI and crypto, like it's always like a perfect combination. Like I don't know why, but like it always just works. Like whenever there's AI and crypto, like the coin will usually like send. Like if it's like a relevant narrative at that point. Um, like they make a very good combination,
I,
and yeah, it is very hard to value. So that can definitely send it.
I
Like that's
haven't.
the why 6-7 didn't do that well because everyone was trying to value it at like 60 mil, 70 mil, um, and because everyone had like a target in mind, like oh I'll sell it below 100 mil, like that's why I didn't do that well. Like with this, like people are like, where can this actually go? Because Goat went to like a billion, and like a lot of other stuff went to like hundreds of millions.
That's an interesting thought. That the reason why 6 7 didn't get to like the preordained market cap that people were talking about was simply because there was a preordained market cap. There was a number that everybody was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's got to go there.
Yeah, yeah, and whatever market cap people are targeting, it's always going to be like uh 30 to 50% lower than that, and it went to like 40, didn't know.
Somewhere thereabouts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. Crazy. I almost need to like go back and look at some other tokens for, and with that in mind. My theory around why crypto and AI vibes with one another is because if the machines desire money, that is what they'll transact in. They'll transact in crypto.
yeah, and
That's my low key theory.
yeah, I mean we've got like a lot of big people talking about X402, like Coinbase are focusing on it a lot, Solana are focusing on it a lot. Um, I think that is a narrative that will definitely come back.
For sure. Tokani wants to know your thoughts on psyop anime. Is this a joke or is he being serious? I don't know.
Holding a big bag. um, I don't know. Just hope that Elon saves your bags.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Last question. Last question. Um, you you just talked about Bitcoin, the potential that Bitcoin could like really roll over here. What is your gut feeling about the next, couple of quarters of this year in crypto?
Yeah,
Where do
this
you
one's
feel
like
like we're headed?
this one's very hard for crypto, because we're kind of like we've already kind of broken the 4 year cycle. Like we had an all-time high before the halving. Um, you know, there's not QE. Like there's a lot of things that are like different these cycles that were a thing in the last cycles. So like there really is a possibility that we break the 4 year cycle and you know we can definitely bounce out of here. It is a possibility. There's also a very big possibility that we roll over. This was like the shoulder. So I'm not ruling like either of them out. I'm just I'm just being, minimum risk because even if we do rocket out of here, like I know I will make money, but if we dive here and I'm in positions, like I'll just get cooked. Um, when there's like that big of a risk of everything, just because if Bitcoin like rolls over, like we can see bear market bottom at like 50K, maybe like 60K or something like that. And on chain, I don't even know. I don't even want to know what will happen to on chain. So I don't even want to like risk the possibility of that.
Do you, I guess, as a like a back half of this question, do you have a general sense of um, where do things start looking up to you? Like, where does Bitcoin need to be, and what does it need to hold for you to be like, yeah, it feels like the low's probably in here. We're probably gonna either trend sideways or slowly grind higher over, the longer term. Do you have a level in
Um,
mind?
I think um, I'm probably just gonna go based on vibes. Uh, there's the thing is with like bear, like a lot of these bear markets, there's usually like a macro thing that happens that no one can control that just like comes out of nowhere that like puts in that bear market low. Like the bear market low is always like forced selling. Um, so you can't really like predict that. So I'm just kind of like staying minimum risk and just going with the vibes for now.
Got it. All right, Leo. Well, this has been a pleasure to get to chat with you, man. I really, really appreciate the time. Means a lot that you were willing to come chat with us today. So I know I speak for everybody in the audience when I say thank you for being here. And I
Appreciate
look forward. I look forward to your triumphant return, man. It hasn't been that long since you were posting crazy P&Ls and wins every single
it.
day. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing that Leo come back.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate the questions made me I wasn't the best at the answers, but there were questions that I had never actually even thought about. So it took me a while to like piece together a response that like made sense.
It's all good, brother. It's all good. I like to try and hit some folks with some unexpected things. Um, Hopefully, if you're into it, we can have you back sometime later on in the year and catch up and see how you're thinking and how you're feeling about things.
Yeah, perfect, bro.
All right, brother. Well, again, thanks for the time. Thanks for the chat. And happy trading, man. Let's
Yeah,
keep crushing it.
yeah. All right, have a good one, bro.
All right, man. Bye.